Hi folks, today I'm going to be giving you a walkthrough instructional video of how to use the DC Lubricants DPF Cleaning Applicator Pro toolkit alongside the DPF Soak Pro, which is the stage 1 of the DPF cleaning kit, and stage 2 DPF Rinse Pro. So before we do that, first of all, you'll notice that I am wearing gloves and eye protection, so please make sure you do so. And then when we're going to the engine bay, the engine has been brought up to operating temperature and we've now switched the engine off. So the first thing we are going to do, I shall bring this camera a little closer for this part just to make life a bit easier. So if we locate the mass airflow meter, or air mass meter you may call it, so let's unplug this. That is just a safety precaution because we want the EGR valves to stay closed during the cleaning process. Now we've also located the DPF differential pressure sensor. This particular sensor has 2 pipes, so please make sure that you are locating the correct one. We are looking for the pipe that goes before the DPF. If it is a single pipe sensor, then you only have one option. If there are 2 pipes, just make sure that you're going to the correct one. Follow the pipe work back, and this will also be the pipe with the highest amount of pressure if you'd like to take a manual pressure reading. So we've already disconnected the hose and we are going to apply the product through there. So let's pop this back slightly again. Okay, so we're going to take the pipe with the cone nozzle attachment and I'm just going to pop it in here to the DPF pressure hose. Okay, give it a good push into there. So that's us connected up, ready to go for now. And then let's grab the DPF Cleaning Applicator Pro and we'll spin the canister off. So I'll just put this down here for now, out the way. So first up, it does say on the label stage 1. Obviously stage 1 is going to go in there first. So this is 500 ml of the DPF Soak Pro and we're going to pour it into the canister. A little tip for you, if you angle the canister while you're pouring the fluid in, it just saves any frothing over. A bit like pouring a can of beer. I'm sure many of you watching this video have done that before. So there you go, slight angle on there, just pours in a bit nicer. Okay, so that's all of the fluid in. I'll just pop the lid back on. So now we shall screw the canister back on here. And make sure that's on snug. Now the applicator doesn't need any adjustment, okay? It's all preset. We're just going to connect the airline once we've got the hose attached here, okay? So we don't have to fiddle with it. It's all preset. It also has a built-in regulator there, so you don't need to turn down the air pressure on your compressor, okay? So if you're in the workshop, just use your regular airline and it's all preset and regulated. Okay, so now we're all hooked up. All we're left to do now is attach the airline. Nice and simple. And we're now going to pump the fluid in, okay? So what we're going to do is do it in short bursts, okay? If you notice, I'm releasing the trigger. So I'm going to give it 3 or 4 second bursts and allow it to disperse. And on the DPF soak, it shouldn't take more than a few minutes to apply the whole 500ml into the DPF. There we go, give it a shake. Get any last little bits out of there. And there we go. That is all of the fluid in. So I'm just going to disconnect the airline for now and pop the Applicator Pro down to one side. So now that we've applied the stage 1, okay, so this fluid is all into the exhaust now, DPF Soak Pro, we are going to allow it to sit now for 15 minutes. So I shall pause the video and I will come back in 15 minutes and talk you through the next step. Okay, so now that we have allowed the DPF Soak Pro to soak for 15 minutes, we are ready to start the engine. So what we're going to do, start the engine up, and we are then going to slowly increase engine RPM to 1500 RPM. We are then going to use a pedal depressor, or you could stay in the vehicle, whichever you choose. But once we're at around 1500 RPM, we're just going to allow it to sit there for 10 minutes. So let's go start the engine. It's also important, folks, that at the exhaust you have a catch can. So we have a catch can at the rear of the exhaust to catch any waste product that comes out of the exhaust. And obviously, please dispose of that correctly through a waste management company. So let's go and increase engine RPM to 1500 RPM. Okay, so the engine is now sat at a nice steady 1500, 1500 RPM, and we are going to let it sit and do its thing for the next 10 minutes. I do have a scan tool connected to the vehicle. I don't have the DPF pressure pipe hooked up. I still have my hose attached, but I'm going to be keeping a nice watchful eye on exhaust temperatures. The great thing with this product is we do not see any high exhaust temperatures created by the product, so you should not expect to see anything over around 200 degrees or 250 degrees maximum during this process. If you do, then the customer may have put some additives in the tank or something like that, so you shouldn't see anything abnormal. So let's let the engine run for 10 minutes and then we'll be back with the next part of the video. Okay, so we've now allowed the engine to run at 1500 RPM for 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my pedal depressor off and I'm going to allow the engine to come back to idle. Okay, so while the engine is at idle, we're going to unscrew the canister again from the DPF Cleaning Applicator Pro. And we are now going to move on to use the DPF Rinse Pro, which is a stage 2. Now this is a 2-litre container, so 2 litres of fluid here. So we are going to put half. You can see the measurement on the side, so we're going to put half of this fluid into the Applicator Pro. Okay, so again, if you're just nice and steady like you're pouring a can of beer, to make sure that it doesn't spill everywhere, okay? Take your time. Okay, nearly there. Okay, that's 1 litre in there. I'll just pop this to one side. And then we'll reattach the canister, and we are going to leave the engine running for this stage, okay? So again, let's attach our airline. And again, we're going to do it in bursts, okay? And it shouldn't take more than a few minutes to apply the product. So there we go, so there is 1 litre applied. So we're going to pop off the airline, okay, pop this down here. Quick check on the scan tool, everything looks good again. So now that half of that fluid is in, so we've put 1000 ml, 1 litre of the DPF Rinse Pro, which is the stage 2, and we are now going to increase engine RPM, and again we're going to allow it to stay there for 10 minutes. So I'm now going to increase engine RPM to 1500 RPM, and then I will see you back here shortly. Okay, so the engine has now been running at 1500 RPM for 10 minutes, so we are going to allow the engine to come back down to idle. Okay, so now we're back at idle. We're going to repeat the last process, the previous one. We're going to leave the engine running. Remove the canister again from the Applicator Pro. And we're going to pour in the rest of the Stage 2 DPF Rinse Pro. So again, let's do it at an angle. Okay, that's it all in. So let's reattach the canister. then we shall reattach the airline and time to pump it in. We're almost there, and it's important that you use all of this fluid as part of stage 2. Okay, so once this is in, that will be 2 litres of the stage 2 DPF Rinse Pro. Okay, right, that's the fluid all in. I'll pop the gun down there. Okay, so now the rest of the fluid is in. We're going to go back and increase the engine RPM to 1500 RPM, and we're going to again let it sit there for 10 minutes. So I will go and increase the engine RPM, and I will see you back here in 10 minutes. Okay, so the engine has now been running at 1500 RPM for the past 10 minutes. So I'll now go and allow the vehicle to idle. Okay, so now the vehicle is at idle. What I'm going to do, I'm going to disconnect the cone nozzle. Be careful here while doing this, because you may still have a little bit of pressure in the pipe, okay? So in this case, it's all good. Now, one important step before we move on to the next part, it is very important that you flush this toolkit through with water. So I have a canister here with some clean water. Let's fill up the canister. Okay. So let's reconnect this Now, very important that you understand, you are just flushing this water through into a waste container, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the hose into here. I'm going to attach my airline, and while the vehicle is still running, all I'm going to do is flush this water through. What will happen if you do not do this, then the seals will not last long in the DPF Cleaning Applicator Pro, okay? And you'll start getting leaks. So after each job, doesn't take long, rinse it through with water, okay? So we're almost done with that. There we go, so I can pop this down to one side. Right, there we go, that's it all out. So disconnect the airline, pop that down there. So okay, we're almost ready to go out for road test in the vehicle. So again, please make sure you have a scan tool with you. So we've had a scan tool connected to the vehicle for the entire time. We can monitor exhaust temperatures, etc. So now all we're ready to do is, first of all, we're going to pop back the mass airflow meter, okay, make sure it's in nice and tight, and I'm going to pop the DPF pressure hose back onto the DPF pressure sensor, okay. There we go. So I now have all those values up on the screen. I'm going to take the scan tool with me on road test. So the final part of this procedure is we are now going to go out on road test, and I'm going to drive the vehicle. From watching all my values on the scan tool now, we'll take the scan tool with us, and we're just going to go out for a gentle drive in the vehicle for around 20 minutes. Please note, I have not reset any warning lights, I've not cleared any fault codes, because this is still the final stage of the cleaning process. We're going to go out on road test, allow the exhaust to clear. When I come back and I'm happy with everything, I'm then going to clear down the fault codes and reset any adaptations. If you've replaced a new sensor or something like that, you may need to do some relearns with the scan tool, okay? The most important thing, guys, is please make sure that you have addressed the cause of your DPF blockage. Remember, if a DPF is in your workshop and it's blocked, there is a reason why it is blocked. So please do not just clean the DPF without diagnosing the cause of the problem, okay? So I don't need to take you out on road test with me. I'm just going to go drive the car nice and steady for 20 minutes. I'm going to come back and then I'm going to clear my fault codes. Okay, thanks for watching. It's as easy as that. Follow the instructions and it's a nice simple process.